Okay, my name is Dennis from Calcom, and I'm here to do the in-service training and get you familiar with the operation and quick start fire alarm control panel operating instructions. This is the operating instructions for the quick start fire alarm panel. It should be permanently affixed near or on the panel itself. Okay. At this point today, we're going to start with reviewing the operating instructions on this piece of paper here. The first thing is responding to alarm signals. Okay? Basically, responding to alarm signals, you evacuate the area if you hear a fire alarm occur in this building. Okay? Also, you notify the proper authorities immediately and state the nature and location of the emergency. Okay, that's all general rules. As far as fire alarms occurring on this panel, okay, and your established procedures, you need to contact your supervisors or your board and find out the established procedures for this particular building. Okay, I'm going to generalize you with operating instructions of this particular panel. This fire alarm system consists of smoke detectors, duct detectors, pulse stations, and water flow sprinkler devices. It also has other features such as elevator recall and air handlers shutdown. All the devices in the building report to this fire alarm control panel. There are also annunciators located in the building in the main lobby that duplicate what is on this screen. So whatever shows on this screen is going to show on those screens also. Okay, like I said, this fire system consists of different type of initiation devices. I'm going to review how to reset those devices. I'm also going to show you how to interpret the information that's displayed at this panel. Okay, to silence alarm notification signals. Okay, to silence these signals, in order to silence these signals, you need proper authorization from the fire department. So before you touch any of these buttons on this panel, you need to get authorization from your supervisors through the fire department. The fire department might not want you touching this panel whatsoever. But if they do authorize you to, I'm going to show you how to silence a fire alarm. Now, fire alarm can be generated by several different devices. Can be generated by smoke detectors, duct detectors, pulse stations, and sprinkler devices in this building. When the alarm occurs, you're going to want to view the alarm in the display. Normally, the most current alarm is going to display on the screen. If you have consecutive alarms, it'll display in priority. Okay, and also with the conditions of the signals. The highest condition signal is an alarm condition, a fire alarm condition. Second highest would be a supervisory condition. And the lowest basically would be a trouble condition. Supervisory condition consists of a signal basically generating annunciation at the display, which means it's going to beep at the keypad. It's not going to set off your audio-visual devices, your horn strobes in the hallways. Okay, it's not going to evacuate the building. Okay, but regardless of the signals, they're all going to be displayed at this panel. And like I said, the fire alarm is going to be the highest signal. Normally, there's LEDs here that will light up for different conditions. And we're concerned with the alarm LED at the top. Okay, if fire alarm occurs, this LED is going to flash. It's going to continue to flash until you actually acknowledge that signal. I'm not saying silence the alarm, I'm saying acknowledge the signal. Two different things. Okay, silencing alarm and acknowledging a signal is two different buttons. Okay, if the fire alarm occurs, once you have authorization and once the building's been evacuated and deemed safe by the proper authorities to re-enter the building, you can silence the alarms. That is done by the alarm silence. Pushing the alarm silence switch. Now, anytime you push any of these buttons on this panel, you need authorization. Besides touching the panel, you need authorization to push the buttons. That authorization is given either with the key, by turning the key, inserting the key into the front of the display and turning the key to on. That will enable the controls at the main panel. This applies also to the annunciators in the lobbies. Okay, once you turn the key on, these controls are enabled. There's also another way to enable these controls without the key, because if this gets taken out, granted it cannot be removed while in the on position, it's locked in there. But if you turn it back and put the off, and you take the key out and it disappears, now you have no key. You need a password. Okay, and the level passwords are printed in the user's guide that I will leave on site. Okay, there are different level passwords. Be concerned with resetting the silencing alarm or resetting a fire alarm corresponds with what level passwords you use. Okay, and the passwords will be given out on basically an individual basis, and the supervisor will determine who requires the password and who won't require the password. But like I said, if you have the key to enable controls, you have to turn it on. Okay, if you have the password, you don't need the key. Once you turn it on, you can go ahead and push the alarm silence to silence the audio-visual devices in the building after alarm occurs and after the building deemed safe to enter. Okay, once you silence that alarm and you locate the device in the display, you want to go and check that device and make sure that area is clear of smoke. Because if you try to reset a smoke detector and the area is not clear of smoke, it's just going to go back into an alarm condition. So you want to make sure, after you silence, to go investigate to make sure that device is ready to be reset. Smoke detectors are automatic devices. Duct detectors are automatic devices. Resetting those devices is done here at the display. Okay? Pull stations, manual pull stations throughout the hallways by the exit doors require a manual reset. So once you silence the alarms, and if it's a smoke detector or a duct detector, and you deem that area is clear to reset, the area is clear of smoke or whatever tripped the device, you can go ahead and reset simply by pushing the system reset button here. Okay, that's if it's a smoke detector, and there are two smoke detectors, one here and one in the front lobby, and there's also 3 smoke detectors for the elevator. First floor, ground floor, and the mechanical room. Okay, the smoke detectors are automatic devices. They can be reset right from the panel. If it's a pull station that generates the fire alarm, somebody pulls a pull station, that requires a manual reset before you reset the panel. So you can silence the alarm, go to the pull station, and that's done by looking at the description in the display, okay, and locating the device. You go to that pull station, and you're going to need to reset that pull station. You're going to need either a key or a screwdriver. It depends what type of pull station is installed in that particular application. I do believe they are all keys at this point. So the key to the panel also fits the keys to the pull stations. They're all the same keys. So you would go to the pull station, reset the pull station by opening the pull station, pushing the manual switch down, and closing the pull station back up and locking it up. And we can go to the actual device and we can show you that at the actual device if you need to look at that, to reset the pull station. But the main thing is, to reset the device, smoke detectors, duct detectors, you can automatically reset here, as long as that area is clear of smoke. Pull stations require you to go to that device, reset it first, then come back to the panel and push the reset button. Okay, does everybody understand that? That's basically the most important thing on resetting the panel. You want to make sure if it's a pole station, that requires you to get out there and reset that pole station. If it's a smoke detector, you want to make, it doesn't require you to do anything at the smoke, but you want to make sure that area doesn't have any more smoke in it. Because if you reset a smoke detector or a duct detector and there's still smoke in that area, it's going to go off again. Okay, so the best thing is, if you're not sure, leave that device in alarm at that time until you get proper clearance from whoever needs to be contacted. Okay, whether it be the custodian and deem that, hey, all the smoke's out of the building, we can go ahead and reset that device, or there's no harm going to be done if you do that.
When the smoke detector goes off, will it contact the fire department also, or is that only when the fire?
Okay, as far as the panel itself goes, this panel is monitored by a monitoring station. Okay? And normally, before any type of service is done on the fire alarm, or to the sprinkler system, or to the air handling units, the individual contractors will come to the main office and sign in. It's their responsibility at that point to make you aware that they might do something to make this panel off normal condition or in alarm condition. So they need to inform you when they get here. At that point, you need to determine if you need to contact the monitoring station and place the system in a bypass test mode with that central station. Okay? But it's entirely up to you what procedures you follow, because these procedures will be laid down by the board or your supervisors. However, as far as the monitoring of this panel, it is done by a central station. How and who puts it on test is entirely dictated by the supervisors and the board.
Okay, I have a question. But if the alarm goes off, is the fire department notified, or do we call? If no one is coming to monitor the system, just say if it was smoke in the building.
Okay, the smoke in the building and the fire alarm activates.
Fire department will come.
Yeah, normally the fire department's going to be dispatched, regardless. Okay, and I would stick to that because that's code. They have to respond to a fire alarm. Now, if there's some kind of mutual agreement between the monitoring station and the building management or the building owner that says, nah, you don't have to come if there's a fire alarm, and personally, I don't think that's a wise decision. No, normal procedures is when the fire alarm goes off, it's monitored by a central station. Central station contacts fire department dispatches. And they show up on scene, and then questions get answered at that time.
Is that the same for the pull stations? If one of the kids pulls it, it'll automatically notify
the fire alarm activates. Anytime this panel activates, it's going to notify the monitoring station, which in turn they're going to notify. Now, like I said, if you have contractors coming in the building, it's their responsibility to check in with when they come in. If the answers walk in and go and start working, they have to come in and sign in the office, report that they're here. Okay, at that time, if they are going to be working on systems like the sprinkler system that could affect the fire alarm, they need to notify somebody here. So somebody here can place the system in a test mode with the central station at that time, so they don't respond. And that would be all, like I said, be dictated by the staff. Okay, but as far as the fire alarms occur, if the pull station gets pulled, what you're going to see in the display, if it's a smoke detector, you're going to see something like smoke detector reception.
Yes.